I'm so excited to talk to you. I was just telling Dominique that I am a Disney adult, and Trader Sam was like the greatest surprise for me in the movie. I cried.
Oh my God, really? That's
Yes.
so lovely to hear. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I love Trader Sam. Even before the movie, like I frequent the bar a lot. I don't know if you knew. It's a
I know, I
cantina.
know.
The cantina at Disneyland is fantastic.
Oh, I'm so glad because coming from a Disney high fan, that's high price. Thank you so much.
Yes, I expect some cosplay because I am so ready. I want to talk about how you were approached for this project and what the collaboration was like in creating Trader Sam.
Well, I auditioned for the project. Mari Bernard, our casting director, invited me to audition through my agent and manager, as it usually is. And I did one audition for the character. And then I think like it was probably a month and a half, 2 months later, I had an interview with Jaume Collet-Serra, our director. And that was that. And then I arrived to Atlanta and I got the role, which was unbelievable for me. And I was very, very happy to be able to be part of this.
Yes. Were you a part of the shoot in Atlanta or in Hawaii?
No, in Atlanta. They actually had started shooting in Hawaii, which is why I thought I didn't get the role because I auditioned, then I knew the movie started shooting. And I thought, okay, maybe somebody else got it, and that's that. So I really wasn't expecting to get the role when I got it because I thought it was a done deal. I didn't know who they cast, but I thought, okay, maybe. And at the beginning, they still were thinking of casting. They didn't know if they wanted a woman or a man. The conversation was going both ways, and then eventually they decided, thankfully, that a woman would play it. And and even more thankfully, I got the role, which was fantastic. But yeah, I thought for a while that like it's gone. I even heard from another actor friend of mine in Mexico, a very well-known, wonderful actor, that he was auditioning for it, and we were laughing because he's like, "I'm auditioning for Disney for a new role," and I say, "Yeah, I auditioned for that one." He's like, "Yeah." I say, "Yeah." I mean, they're seeing women and men, and honestly, he's such a good actor. I thought, okay, he's gonna get it, and so yeah, I when I got the news that I got the role, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yes. The amazing thing about Jungle Cruise right now is that they're doing a lot of work, not just for the film, but for the ride, in having better representation of different cultures in a way that, is more respectful and not the stereotypes that we have had, for most of pop culture, unfortunately. Can you talk a bit about what your favorite things were about subverting expectations as this character and the ensemble that you got to work with?
Well, in terms of the ensemble I got to work with, I couldn't have asked for a better ensemble. And, just to be working with Dwayne, with Emily, with Jack Whitehall, with Jesse Plemons, Edgar Ramirez, and Paul Giamatti, all of these are actors I really, really admire. I admire for a long time. And just to be part of a cast with them, it's incredible. Like I don't think that in my wildest dreams when I came here trying to work, I imagined I was gonna end up doing a Disney movie with the character like Trader Sam with this cast. And Jaume Collet-Serra, it's not just any director. It's a director that is brilliant at what he does, but it also is completely dedicated to the film. So just to be part of the whole thing like that was an incredibly artistic experience as well. And in terms of Trader, my favorite thing about the character, I think it's the mix between three things. She is a chief of a tribe and she protects and takes care of her people. I also like this curiosity. She's incredibly creative, and she finds, and that's something Paco Delgado, our costume designer, had on the costume. Like all these little trinkets and things. Like I have a necklace made of spoons. And when I saw that and I met Paco, I just started laughing and I say, "You are brilliant." But at the same time, I laughed because that's how I see the character, like this character finds these little things from other explorers or things that he finds in the jungle, that she finds in the jungle, and she uses them for different creative things. So she's very creative. And I also like that she's ahead of her time, the same as the character of Emily Blunt. It's a woman that's a doctor, is a scientist, yeah, like she's wearing pants, she's doing all these things, and so is Trader. So I like that very, very much. I think that's something I really enjoy playing.
No, totally. And the balance of comedy and horror, and going back to the directing, was so brilliantly done, because one moment I was like laughing with tears in my eyes, but then the next moment I was so scared for the tribe, when Edgar Ramirez came back and attacked. That was so cool to see, the supernatural way that the folklore is brought up in a way that's not inauthentic, but very fantastical.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it works because it's the main motivation is love. Like he does all that because he loved his daughter, and Dwayne loved him, but he also understood that it was wrong to disrespect the tribe that was hosting them, and then the whole thing, and then the story between them. So I think that's one of the reasons why the audience is loving the movie so much, because underneath all of it, there's a lot of love and a lot of kindness to one another. And I think that's something we all need now, and we relate. And, the chemistry with Emily, Dwayne, and Jack, you cannot really fake that, and that's one of the things the audience is really gravitating to. And I swear to you, in the set, it was the same thing. They're really fun. They really have that relationship. So I think that's something the audience feels, because they're fantastic actors, but you cannot fake that. You really can't. So that's why I think people like it so much.
Yeah, and you had amazing chemistry with Dwayne. It made me want to see that show or that movie, because, as a fan of like the Adventureland sort of genre of Disney content, especially with like, there's a whole mythology behind the rides called the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. I was like, I want to see like how Trader Sam and Frank became friends, and like, like more of that. So I would love to see your story be expanded specifically.
Oh, thank you so much. I would love to see that too, because he's such a fun character to play. And as I was constructing the character, you as an actor get to imagine a lot of things, like what would I mean, everything comes from a script, of course, but then when you're like prepping, sometimes I'm thinking like, okay, how would she go about her day, or how would she eat, or how would she, and then it's just so much fun, because this character has a little bit of everything. And yes, the relationship with Frank is lovely, because she still like tells him things as they are, but they have like this rapport, and they respect, and they really love each other. He really protects the tribe, and she really protects him. So it's a very deep friendship between these two characters.
Yes. Were there any scenes that you were part of that were cut? Because like I said, I wanted to see more.
Very, very little, I think part of one fight that I had, and a little bit of one walk, I think. And I think of one, there's one when I'm running with two children, running when the village is, and I think they probably got that because I probably didn't run very graciously. I literally had like the whole costume, which was very heavy, and two kids, and I was running barefoot because the character is barefoot. So honestly, I my main concern in the scene was not to fall with the kids, like I fall, but like I had two kids, so I was like, so I probably didn't do such a good job. I don't know. But no, mostly everything of that was on script is in the movie from my character. Yeah.
Amazing. I really liked that the premiere was over at Disneyland, and my parents, they're also from Mexico. They're from El DF. And so when they moved over here and had me and like my brother, they would go every year to Disneyland, and that's how I became a Disney adult. Can you share a bit about, maybe like your first visit? Was it for the premiere? Did you go like when you were younger?
My first visit, it was a little bit like that. Like I have never actually been in the States or abroad, and I think it was for Christmas that my dad said, okay, we're going to take you to Disneyland, because we have an aunt living in Los Angeles. So that was the closest, and it's not that far away from Mexico City. So I must have been like 11, 12 years old the first time I came to the United States, and the first time I went to Disneyland. And probably the first or the second ride that we went in was Jungle Cruise. Never in 1,000 years I imagined that I would ever be part of a movie based on the ride. Never. So it's lovely. It's almost surreal, when you think about it, because the night of the premiere we got to take the ride again, and going to the Jungle Cruise ride, and it just brought such beautiful memories. Like I remember that. I remember the only difference is that, of course, this was a lot of years later, so I'm way older, and the weather, because we went in winter and it was colder.
Yeah.
And this time the premiere was in summer. But other than that, the feeling, and the way people react to the ride is the same, except I'm now part of the movie, which is lovely.
Yes, and the ride, because they added more Trader Sam to the end of the ride too. So yes. Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
It was amazing to talk to you, and I look forward to more Trader Sam.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for saying that. Thank you for the interview.
Pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this.